who is a grad student in the School of Social Work. Not here with us right now is John Moore, who unfortunately is in Spain right now finishing up his MAT program, but he's here with us in spirit. So I want to start off with a quote. Without electricity, social and economic development is much more difficult. Addressing sanitation, clean water, hunger, these goals can't be met without providing access to energy. Currently, in India, 403 million Indians lack access to electricity. And even though 44% of rural households are electrified, many of those households experience regular blackouts and inconsistencies in electric power sources. This causes a unique problem because a lot of rural households, especially farmers, have equipment that requires electricity, things like water pumps. So if a farmer does have access to electricity, they're presented with the option to either let their fields go dry or flood the fields. Most of the time, the farmer will choose to flood the field, which can often use far more water than is necessary and even result in lower crop yields. A major issue here is a loss in productivity. They have the ability to do something, but they're not really able to because they lack access to an infrastructure. And this is a loss in income and a loss in productivity overall. That's where we come in. MotoTool wants to utilize the power in small engine motorcycles, which are ubiquitous across Southeast Asia. Most specifically, a type of motorcycle called the Hero Honda Splendor, which has sold 1 million units per year in India. And of those million units, 40% of which are sold in rural households. MotoTool would be a generator that hooks up directly to the motorcycle's drivetrain or using a belt. As the user throttles the engine, the belt turns, powering the generator, which can then provide electricity to things like water pumps so they can water their fields. Now, MotoTool is just a module. Considering the fact that you can now provide energy where you need it for a very acute need, what else could you power? Let's take another issue. How about the issue of clean water? 75% of rural Indians lack access to clean, healthy water. So what if we package MotoTool with something like a reverse osmosis filter with a UV filter? So somebody on the back of a motorcycle can go around to a community, filter water, and sell it at a per liter rate. We've done a couple calculations based on some off-the-shelf generators and filters and factoring in fuel and filter costs. Somebody could sell water at a per liter rate and pay off the MotoTool in about a year, and then provide more income for themselves after the fact. So in the end, MotoTool isn't just an electrical generator. It's a revenue generator, and it's a health generator for community. It becomes a community asset. So what is that community that we're trying to assess? Leo?
Yes, thanks, Dylan. So with the initial market entry, we're looking at the state of Andhra Pradesh. It's one of the more dense states in India, with a farmer household population of 5 million. Within that, the split into two segments we're going to initially focus on the farmer households still currently using a diesel pump to pump their farms at 1 million, and about 500,000 folks in rural households who own motorcycles right now. A little bit insight to some of our customer discovery. After our last meeting, we really needed to interface with actual rural farmers. So when we were initially looking at Vietnam, who was another large motorcycle user population and very rural, a lot of values came up as far as the importance of having an access to job creation. Actually, just beyond having just beyond having electricity, a lot of there's pressures in rural populations are going to big cities to work. So when we see the same trend in India, actually, it's a massive pressure to move into cities. We're talking about the population of US and the UK alone in all of India who are currently moving from rural to urban areas. So in focus groups throughout villages, we researched in Andhra Pradesh, a lot of their basic needs they're asking for relates to electricity. For example, in agriculture, they have validated that an erratic power supply does cause low yield. And a lot of people at the village level oftentimes don't have an access to a healthcare facility. More so, even when it's available, that power is still unavailable at least 6 hours a day. And key access for drinking water. So So particularly, they have a value of removing fluoride with a lot of the water that comes from the wells. In addition to our responding to the need of health access centers, we're talking with an NGO called Help Age India. They are specializing in mobile medical units throughout the country, and they're currently still using diesel generators. So moving on to, I think, some of the farmer profile, like affordability is definitely a principle with our device. And we're looking at a monthly income of the average small farmer at 2,000 rupees, $45 US, with a monthly consumption at 224. And what are the options for power right now? We're looking at a diesel generator at 100,000 rupees. Now, that roughly comes out to like 4 years of monthly income. With MotoTool, we hopefully can substitute some of that market at 10,000 to 14,000. So that's like 4 months of payments compared to 4 years. As far as our competitors, directly we said we're going to be competing with the diesel generator, but we're also finding out that also our indirect competitors would be our non-renewable energy sources, typically that come with high infrastructure costs and less mobile. So we believe MotoTool can serve really this acute need. We're not talking about having powerful for the entire villages, but we're talking for this acute need for productive uses. So that's where we believe that we are competitive at less than 10 times the rate as the current option as a diesel generator.
So let's talk a little bit about the business model for MotoTool. MotoTool is going to be based out of India using custom parts manufacturer based in India. This way our production is in-country, lowers cost, and provides a way to buy units at a per run cost. We'll then sell these through our distribution channels, which will be motorcycle dealers where you can buy it at point of sale of the motorcycle, motorcycle parts suppliers, as well as microfinancers, because most, if not all, of the farmers will not be able to afford the upfront cost of MotoTool, but will have to take out a loan in order to get it. We want to market towards these NGOs as well as these users, these farmers, most specifically things like farmers collectives, so that we can address some of the big risks of our product, which are increasing debt burden and debt stress amongst the farmers and potential users. And in a way, it also helps build that aspect of MotoTool as being a community resource. In the end, it'll be able to address giving better service to the constituents with NGOs, as well as providing an increase in income and an increase in productivity, which will really be our critical success factors. We want to be able to show that we can actually increase this income, and they can pay off the MotoTool, and then they can have money for themselves after the fact. We've done a little bit of looking into what a break-even analysis, because we don't have a definitive product right now. We had a range of values for what we think this would cost, from 10,000 to 14,000 rupees, and we started pricing it out at about a 2,000 unit cost. We think we can break even over 3 years.
Great, so what have we been doing this semester that's keeping us so busy? So John, one of our team members, MotoTool, was part of the Harvard Social Innovation competition. So there he was able to pitch his idea, get some great feedback from the business professionals, and that's really helped us to continue to improve our business model. Besides that, yesterday actually we were part of the Dow Sustainability Challenge. We were one of the finalists, and there again we were able to pitch our idea and get some great feedback. We did not win, but we did win $1,000 for participating, so that's really great for our future and for MotoTool. Thank you. And so the next steps, we've done as much as we can here in Ann Arbor. Next thing we really need to do is to go to India to really validate our customer and see if our product is as useful as we think it is. So John and Dylan will both be in India this coming summer. Here they'll be able to do a lot of field research, really talking to people, getting hands-on research and data about how they could really use this product and find out if it is indeed something that they could use and use to be more efficient. Again, so we have some long-term goals as well as short-term, including social and economic. So we hope that by 2013, so 2 years from now, that 2,000 MotoTool modules will have been sold. So that would increase access to electricity for of the guest speakers we've had. A lot of people have worked in India, lived in India. We've had some great experiences learning about the potential market that we're looking to enter. And the CFE was lucky enough to pay for a